Hi guys, it's Frankie from Frankie Tech, and I'm here with my epic comparison between the Redmi K20 Pro, OnePlus 7 Pro, and Xiaomi Mi 9. Now, as I'm leaving to the States tomorrow, I've decided to do this in one epic comparison, and we'll be going down the list: design, display, performance, quick audio test, and sharing my camera samples with these phones. And then we'll really just talk about which one of these three I think is worth your dollars. Now, in terms of pricing, the K20 Pro cost me just under 4,000 Hong Kong dollars, so 500 USD. The OnePlus 7 Pro is definitely the most expensive of the bunch, coming in at 6,400 HKD, or well over 800 US dollars. And then last but not least, we have the Mi 9, and this variant actually is the cheapest of these variants. 6 GB, 128 gigs of storage, that cost me around 3,600 Hong Kong dollars, or I guess closer to that 450 US dollar price point. These phones bring a lot to the table, but let's go down the list now and see which phone comes out on top. Let's have a look. Design: 8.8 millimeters, 191 grams, 8.8 millimeters, 206 grams, the heaviest of the bunch, and the Mi 9, 7.6 millimeters, 173 grams. You clearly see a separation between these two phones and the Mi 9, and there is also one big separation between these, and that's battery capacity. And what that means is that these two phones are quite a bit thicker than the Mi 9, but that also means that the Mi 9 is the most comfortable in the hand. Looking at the backs of these phones, they all bring a very premium look to the table, but I probably appreciate the matte back of the OnePlus 7 Pro the most. But the Redmi K20 Pro with this swirled flame red look is just absolutely gorgeous. I don't know how Xiaomi have done this kind of back, but they definitely have the most striking back of these three. Looking at the sides of the phones, the Xiaomi phones obviously have their stuff laid out very similarly, whereas the OnePlus 7 Pro has the alert slider right here, power button, and one major victory for the K20 Pro is that 3.5 millimeter headphone jack on the top. And these two phones are implementing the pop-up mechanism to create a fully bezel-less look, while the Xiaomi Mi 9 still has that teardrop notch. Feeling the sides of the phones, they all feel very premium, and they are all made of metal. But I would say the fit and finish of the OnePlus 7 Pro is just a step above the other two. And you guys who were asking about the edge feeling of the phone, the K20 Pro still has that ridged feel that just is a little bit less premium, and the Mi 9 is also the same. The OnePlus 7 Pro definitely feels the most smooth at the bottom, but it's still not as seamless as the one that I felt on the P30 Pro or on phones like the iPhone XS Max and the Galaxy S10 Plus. And looking at the fronts of these phones, you can clearly see the K20 Pro and the OnePlus 7 Pro just offer a more bezel-less experience. I know the teardrop notch is not a favorite for many of you, and if you really are a notch hater, then you're not even considering the Xiaomi Mi 9. But don't discount the Mi 9 just yet, because it also has a very small bottom bezel, very similar to the one on the K20 Pro, and they give the OnePlus 7's bottom bezel a run for its money. And so the bottom of the Mi 9 and the K20 Pro look very similar indeed, but it's at the top where you see that pop-up camera just makes for a more immersive experience. These phones bring some terrific design to the table, but if I could only give it to one design-wise, I'm going to have to go with the OnePlus 7 Pro. And that considering that I'm not the hugest fan of curved edge displays. There's just something about this phone that feels amazing when you hold it. And while it is a little bit big and a little bit cumbersome to use, I still think the design of this phone wins out, especially with this beautiful blue radiant back. And now if I had to pick a second place, I'm going with the K20 Pro. It's a very close call here, but this back in flame red is just absolutely gorgeous. I like that it has this kind of black in the middle. It just makes for a very cool looking back, and the added touch of this pop-up camera really does make a difference. Don't get me wrong, the Mi 9 is very nicely designed, but as you can see, it picks up fingerprints even worse than any of these phones in this color. And while I do like this kind of look, it is very subtle, and most of the time you just notice that this phone is this kind of off pink color. If you do get the Mi 9, definitely consider getting the blue version or the gray version, because I think this color has definitely gone a little bit old for me. but still a great design and a solid phone in terms of its build quality for the price. Display, 6.39-inch AMOLED display, Gorilla Glass 5, HDR compatible on the K20 Pro, Fluid AMOLED 6.67-inch display on the OnePlus 7 Pro, and then a 6.39-inch Gorilla Glass 6 Super AMOLED on the Mi 9. Now there's one distinct separation between these three, and that is that the OnePlus 7 Pro is a Quad HD display. Having a Quad HD display may be overkill at this point, but in my experience, you really do notice the difference, and that is why this display is just a step above. It is also an amazingly beautiful colored panel. Icons just pop. And last but not least, let's not forget that 90 Hz refresh rate on the OnePlus 7 Pro. Whether you think it's a gimmick or not, it is something I'm so used to now that I can definitely notice when I use any other phone that doesn't have it. Now that's not to say that that makes the displays on these other two phones completely terrible. In fact, I think Xiaomi has brought some really great AMOLED panels to the lower price points in the K20 Pro and the Xiaomi Mi 9. The K20 Pro in particular, I feel, has a really solid panel, and it looks similar to the one that was used on the Mi Mix 3. Colors look vibrant, and the screen does get plenty bright. Now, some of you guys were asking, why is the screen a little bit pink? Well, this can always be adjusted in color settings. As you can see, I can go much warmer or much cooler. I can do increased contrast, and now the colors pop even more. So you can adjust these things to make it a little bit less warm, and if you want to be on the cooler side, you can do that too. And cycling through the photos, and you can see with increased contrast, the K20 Pro is already popping off the screen so much better here, and they all have these beautiful inky blacks. I think the K20 Pro's greens are really nice there, but there's just a level of detail you see on the OnePlus 7 Pro that you just don't on the other panels. Now, this does distort imagery a little bit because of the curved edge, and for some of you who don't like that, that could be a deal breaker as well. I really do prefer, and I will stand by the fact that these are flat panels as displays, and they don't cause any of that distortion. But I guess you start to come around to curved edge displays, and I definitely have. It really eliminates these side bezels and just makes the screen so much more immersive. And here's the YouTube playback comparison. Let's zoom in here to show you guys how it looks. Watching Frankie Tech and the K20 Pro unboxing, this video has gone wild. Thanks to all your support. And you see it here. Which one of these three do you think looks the best? I can clearly rule out the Xiaomi Mi 9 just because of the intrusive nature of the notch, although I think it's not that big a deal if you really consider the fact you're only losing a little bit of space. But I know you guys are notch haters, and so between these two, which one do you think looks better? If I have to give the edge to one in YouTube playback, it's gonna go to the OnePlus 7 Pro. The screen is just a little bit bigger, and this top bezel is so tiny on both of these phones, but something about the curved edge just makes it feel more immersive. But don't get me wrong, it's a very close second place between this and the K20 Pro, and considering the price difference, you are getting one of the most immersive viewing experiences on any smartphone in the world. Just absolutely stunning. But in DRM Info, we have two victors here, the OnePlus 7 Pro and the Mi 9. And this is the global Mi 9 version, which is why it has L1. But you best believe that when this phone is released, the K20 Pro, as a global release, either the Mi 9T or as the Pocophone F2, who knows, that will definitely have L1 out of the box. Now, I do think in terms of being certified for Netflix, the OnePlus 7 Pro, I think is already there. I think it was just recently certified, and the Mi 9 I know is definitely certified. So you will be getting HD Netflix with both of these phones, and hopefully the Mi 9T Pocophone F2 or this version or global version of the K20 Pro, when that comes out, will be getting that certification as well. Talking about performance, and here are the Geekbench scores for these Snapdragon 855 phones, and you're going to get a very similar result. Here are the K20 Pro results that I shared last time. The Mi 9 and just ran the benchmark on the OnePlus 7 Pro. And so you're going to have a great time using any of these phones. The 6 GB on the Mi 9 is not a huge issue. You have an 8 GB option if you want to step above. So in terms of just daily use, I think you're going to have a great time. Now, obviously, the fluidity of the OnePlus 7 Pro is unmatched. That also in terms of gestures and UI, Oxygen OS is just a terrific skin. And I really do think it is now a step above almost any of the other Android skins. You guys know how big of a stock Android fan I am, and I'm really coming around to liking Oxygen OS as much, maybe even more. But don't get me wrong, MIUI 10 on both the K20 Pro and the Mi 9 is a great skin. I will always enjoy this apps loading tray. I like the idea that it's vertical, although gestures I feel on MIUI 10 are just not as smooth as they are on the OnePlus 7 Pro. And just quick point of mention, I did rerun the K20 Pro Antutu benchmark after the last software update, and have a look, 363,000, so definitely a bit higher than we had last time, and I've seen this score upwards of over 370,000, so we're now much closer in the range of the acceptable scores for this kind of spec list. Battery life, 4,000 milliamperes, 4,000 and 3,300. Definitely a separation between these two and the Mi 9. I've extensively tested the Mi 9 on the channel, and I got 10 hours and 25 minutes of screen on time using GSAM previously. This is a new unit of the phone, so I haven't run that test yet. But go check out my battery drain test, where the Mi 9 scored almost 11 hours in that drain test. Now, I haven't run a drain test on these two phones. I'm noticing that battery life on the K20 Pro is pretty good, but I think it's going to be closer to the level of the Mi 9. But I'm going to have to test these out. Let's see if I have some time during my trip, because both of these phones are coming with me on the trip, and I'll see if I have time to do some sort of a drain test while I'm out there. But I think you can expect probably 7 to 8 hours of screen on time on the OnePlus 7 Pro, and if the K20 is anywhere near close to that, considering it has a smaller display and the same capacity, no Quad HD, and only 60 Hz refresh rate, it's gonna do better, I think, than the OnePlus 7 Pro, but let's wait and see. And it's time, guys, for PUBG Mobile on the K20 Pro, OnePlus 7 Pro, and the Mi 9. And I love the fact that all three phones are utilizing the entire screen here, and the Mi 9 is almost as immersive, minus the notch, but I will give the edge to these two phones. They just look beautiful in terms of initial gameplay, and I definitely love the fact that the OnePlus 7 Pro is just so immersive in this game. I think it comes first just in terms of immersiveness, but the K20 Pro is not far behind. And looking at the graphics settings, we are on HDR Ultra Realistic on all three phones. Ultra HD does not work. And one thing I quickly want to mention is that Fanatic mode is on the OnePlus 7 Pro here. And you can also turn on Fanatic mode so you can optimize all of these features. Alright, so let's get started on all three phones in 3, 2, 1. And you know what time it is. The classic Frankie Tech swim test. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. And the K20 Pro actually jumped into the game faster than the other two phones, and it is first to the plane jump here. Let's see how quickly the OnePlus 7 Pro will get there. And there we go, and now the Mi 9 is in as well. Moving around the plane, feels great. Fanatic mode is on at this time on the OnePlus 7 Pro, so it's optimizing completely for gameplay and is just a beast. But the Mi 9 is holding its own here. No frame drops whatsoever. So let's get down to the surface, get some guns, and let's see if we can get some kills. And I'm on the ground first with the K20 Pro. Let's see if we can get some guns quickly, and let's see if we have a better showing this time than we did last time. And I see someone there in the distance. Let's see if we can kill them. Oh, already a first kill for the K20 Pro. Incredible. And while we're doing that, let's jump and see how we're doing on the OnePlus 7 Pro. And someone's shooting at me there. I better get down and find some guns quick. So I'm going to try to run to that house and try to get some ammo. And gameplay on the Mi 9. There's a house over there. Oh, someone's shooting at me on all three phones. Once again, a challenge here playing this game on all three phones. But let's see if we can get through this door and get some guns. Yes. So bring it on, dude. Take that. Oh, yeah. That's 2 kills now. 1 on the Mi 9. Let's pick up some stuff and let's check how we're doing on the OnePlus 7 Pro. Okay, we made it to these buildings. Now let's hope there's something in here that I can use. And the OnePlus 7 Pro definitely getting a little bit warm. And yes, let's see if I can get kills on all three phones. Oh, yeah. Oh, guys, and I'm having a much better showing this time. That is 3 kills on 3 phones. I think I can say now I have redeemed myself from the previous showing. And we're near the bridge here on the K20 Pro. It's getting a little bit warm, but still manageable. I think someone's shooting at me on the other. Oh boy, I have to go back to the Mi 9. And there's the dude. Oh, 1 shot. 2 kills on the Mi 9. And I hear some bombs going off in the distance. Back on the K20 Pro. And I think we're actually in a very similar spot where we are with the other teammate. Oh gosh, someone's shooting at me on the OnePlus 7 Pro. There he is. And I got no ammo. Come on, reload, dude. There you go. I'm getting killed on the Mi 9. Take that. Oh yeah. Oh, 3 kills. Oh yes. Oh man, this is getting intense, guys. This is gonna be the most intense gameplay I've ever had playing this. Take that. Ooh, Frankie Tech's coming for you. Oh, he's dead. I killed him. And back on the Mi 9, dude. Someone is definitely shooting at me. Where are they? And I think I see them in the distance. Oh, 4 kills. Frankie Tech is on fire. Oh my gosh. And let's wrap up again to these buildings. But if you guys remember my previous showing, I got killed instantly. And this time I have multiple kills on multiple phones. What an epic showing here. I did not think I was going to do this well. But let's talk about the performance now. I think with the Snapdragon 855, Adreno 640 on all 3 phones, you're going to have an awesome experience playing with the K20 Pro. And considering the price point, you're getting, I think, as immersive an experience on this phone as on the OnePlus 7 Pro. Look at this gameplay. I'm going to let him run that way now. But wait a second, someone was shooting at me. Let's see if I can get one last kill here on the K20 Pro to wrap up. Where are they? I can't find them. There they are. Oh, God. I didn't even see them through the bush. But that is now 2 kills on the K20 Pro, and I think 3 on the Mi 9, and a couple on the OnePlus 7 Pro. That is PUBG Mobile, guys, on these 3 awesome phones. I think you can't go wrong with the PUBG Mobile experience on any of these, but I think the OnePlus 7 Pro maybe takes it a little bit. Oh gosh, let's see if I can get one more kill here. Oh yeah, that is 4 kills. 4 kills. With the OnePlus 7 Pro. Oh, yes! 5 kills with the Mi 9, guys. Let's see if we can get number 6. I was knocked. So I'm going to be dead on the Mi 9 any second. And it looks like the force field's coming for me. So I think this is the moment where we wrap up the game. I will be dead very soon on all 3 phones. But that was probably the most epic PUBG Mobile session I've ever had. And this triple epic battle between these phones. And man, I need a minute, a breather before I continue with this review. Okay guys, so the quick audio speaker test here. I'm going to play at 75 and then 100% on these devices. So let's have a listen. What can I say? It looks like we have one clear victor here, and that is the OnePlus 7 Pro. There's just more bass, more mids, just more pleasing sound at 75 and 100%. Now, between the Mi 9 and the K20 Pro, I think I give the edge to the K20 Pro. It actually had a more pleasing sound. I've always complained that the Mi 9 at 100% gets a little bit tinny, and that was the case right here. And this song obviously has a big thump and bass and a lot of synths, so it kind of lends itself to making phones that struggle with tinniness just struggle even more. But I would go in this order than the OnePlus 7 Pro with its very rich sound, and it does have those dual speakers, whereas these are single bottom firing speakers on the K20 Pro. I give it the second place here, and the Mi 9 comes third. And finally, camera. And there's one specific thing that all these phones share in common, and that's the Sony IMX586, which is that 48 megapixel, which is f1.8 on the K20 Pro and on the Mi 9, but is f1.6 on the OnePlus 7 Pro. Now, all these three phones do have triple camera setups, as you can see from the back, and they all have that ultra wide and then telephoto lens. But I will say that of all the ultra wides, that the one on the OnePlus 7 Pro I felt has been the most kind of underwhelming considering its price point. And just quickly looking at the specs of the telephotos, they're all rocking that 8 megapixel, but an f2.4 in these two cases versus f2.2. And then 13 megapixel ultra wide versus 16 megapixel ultra wides on the OnePlus 7 Pro and the Mi 9. I think the Mi 9 holds its own in the camera department versus these three phones, and considering the price point is incredible what Xiaomi has been able to do with the Mi 9. You've seen a bunch of samples of the Mi 9 previously, but you haven't seen samples of these three together, so I'll show you that in a second. But just also want to mention the front-facing cameras on these phones, which are obviously triggered with the punch holes. And there's Frankie Tech again, sweating it up here because it is a hot day in Hong Kong. And just to quickly show you here, they both have that drop protection enabled, although this one does include a little bit of a message while the K20 Pro does not. All phones are capable of shooting 4K 60 frames per second. The K20 Pro has a 20 megapixel motorized pop-up f2.2, while the OnePlus 7 Pro has a 16 megapixel f2.0, and then the Mi 9 has a 20 megapixel f2.0. So on paper, the Mi 9 should have the best selfies here, but let's have a look at these camera results and hit me up in the comments. What do you think? Final verdict. So there is clearly a price gulf between these three phones that we cannot deny. The OnePlus 7 Pro is significantly more expensive than both the Mi 9 and the K20 Pro. OnePlus is really entering a new level in terms of trying to actually compete with the ultra flagships like the iPhone XS Max, the S10 Plus, and until recently, the P30 Pro. But I think that is the move that is making a big difference, leaving kind of a gulf in the $400 to $500 price point for other phones to come in. And I think Xiaomi, in their attempt to replace OnePlus in this price segment, have delivered some of the most compelling phones of 2019 so far. They started with this Xiaomi Mi 9, which really I felt was the best budget flagship of 2019 up to this point, and combined with its amazing design, beautiful AMOLED display, great camera setup, decent if not just kind of average audio, this was a phone that I thought was not going to be surpassed in 2019 until maybe the Pocophone F2. Well, guess what? It's been surpassed, and that is the K20 Pro right here. This is the phone to surpass it. With its 4,000 milliampere battery, exactly the same size display, amazingly just beautiful design, and an even more bezel-less look, this phone basically addresses all of the concerns I had about the Mi 9. And yes, while the camera I think is slightly a downgrade in the telephoto and wide angles, I do believe that when it comes to the price point of $360, this K20 Pro is still bringing so much to the table. Now, for you guys who have already purchased the Mi 9, did you make a mistake and you should have waited for the K20 Pro? Not at all. The Mi 9 I will continue to recommend for anyone who wants just the best triple camera setup that Xiaomi is offering, I think, on a phone right now. The K20 Pro, I don't think surpasses it. But when it comes to an all-around package, the K20 Pro is firing on all cylinders, and I just think it's very hard not to recommend this over the Mi 9. So in the final verdict, which is obviously the best phone of these three, it's the OnePlus 7, but oh, well, guess what, guys? It is not the OnePlus 7 Pro. The best phone of these three is the Redmi K20 Pro. And I'll explain why right now. There are amazing aspects of the OnePlus 7 Pro. I have loved using this phone, and I think if you appreciate things like the 90 Hz display and just the amazing features, the amazing look, and the amazing feel, this phone is bringing so much to the table. But I'm talking about best all around. And when you combine the fact that this phone at its price point is delivering this much, you basically have one of the most disruptive phones on the market. OnePlus may have left this price segment, but now the K20 Pro and whatever future iteration it will be known as, either the Mi 9T or the Pocophone F2, is gonna replace it. And this is what disruption is all about. Given its price point, I think offers so much to the table that I know that you OnePlus lovers out there are gonna say, how can you pick this over the OnePlus 7 Pro? I just did. And I pick it because considering that I can get almost two of these phones for the price of one of these, that is just unsurmountable value. And if the specs were actually worse, I would actually say that the OnePlus 7 Pro maybe is better. But neither of these phones have wireless charging. That is an honor that only the Mi 9 can actually claim. And these phones also don't have waterproofing. In fact, all three of them don't. The reality is, this is an amazing phone, but it's overpriced for what it's offering when you compare it to what Xiaomi is offering at those price points. And honestly, this phone should have included wireless charging and waterproofing. IP rating I'm talking about if you're charging over 6,000 Hong Kong dollars or close to $800 for this phone. These price points are different for the OnePlus 7 Pro outside the US. If you're in the US and you can get this on a contract, then so be it. It's probably still a great value. You're not even considering these Xiaomi phones. But for any of my audience who's outside of the US, this is your best choice. Save your money. Get the K20 Pro or the Mi 9T or the Pocophone F2, whatever you want to call it, because this is the best flagship, budget flagship, best value phone of 2019. And honestly, in this final assessment, if that is my main point to say, then I would have to give a final order of first, second, third. Very controversial statement, and I'm sure the OnePlus army is going to be out here soon in the comment section. But hit me up, guys. What did you think of my assessment? And that's it for this epic comparison, guys. If you liked it, give me that thumbs up. And if you love the content of Frankie Tech, subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon for future updates. Long video here, guys, but I had to do something pretty big and pretty epic here. I'm going to be out in the States now, so stay tuned for some content. It's going to be a lot more limited, though. I will be bringing the K20 Pro with me and the OnePlus 7 Pro, though. So if you want to see some live streams, if you want to see a little blog of my US trip, let me know, because I definitely want to be doing some camera samples while I'm there with these awesome phones. And that's it for this video. Once again, thanks for all your amazing support, wrapping up this, what has been probably the most epic week in the history of my channel. So that's it, and this is where I leave you by saying, this is Frankie Tech, signing off. Have a good one.